Soul symbols for your weekend read. Next week, I will be reading on Wednesday, dark moon reading, because at the following weekend there is a new moon. So, messages, people, meditated messages that came through. I saw a gold ring, like a wedding band. It's a promise, a contract, a vow. It's been offered on a cushion by a hand, like from the the aces. Okay, three of the clouds. So it's an offer. It's a vow. Okay, these messages, if they resonate with you, listen closer. If they don't, it's okay. It's okay. It doesn't mean the reading is not for you. Okay, then I saw igloo shaped hut, and I was told it's someone's home. And then a curved horseshoe of strong architecture, like a castle, and seeing a back to front question mark. Questions have been answered or are about to be answered. Then I saw the planets orbiting from above, and they made a gold ring, and it was like the gold band I saw, but it was a cosmic ring. I also saw the ring of fire from the annular solar eclipse, which will be on the 17th of February in Aquarius. So there may be answers or questions that need to be answered coming then. I was given the words completion, sealed, it's finished, last word of the Logos. The Logos is it's a principle of divine reason, creative order. Okay. So, yeah, it's judgment, and not in a bad sense. It's just divine principle. Okay. So, whatever's going on for you here, whoever these messages resonate for you, there's a divine order to it. I saw hands with playing cards, and they were dropping on the table. So cards on the table. I thought House of Cards falling, structure falls. So whatever is built, not built on solid or good foundations, is falling or will fallen. I heard someone saying it's random happenings. Then Spirit said they're not random, they fall into a bigger picture. Okay, and then I saw an eagle in that sense of having that higher eagle-eyed perspective on things. I saw a crown and a baby crowning from the birth canal, a crown in a tooth. Words, it's been crowned, it's being crowned, seeing a divide, an opposition, a polarity between two people and then within the group. Hearing it's all connected, all one. Saw the eagle again, honey dripping. Okay, and then I saw a menorah, the seven candelabra, and again it brought us right back to the beginning, because when I looked it up, it's a covenant. It's about shining the eternal flame of divine presence. So this could be in a very mundane, in our lives, marriage, relationships, all that, houses, structures. But this could also be because of that menorah and because of the cosmic ring, it's likely to be about higher things. So I'm going to have a look at that contract, that vow, that covenant, whatever's being made, and I'm going to have a look at that path, see what that's about, and I'm going to have a look at what may be an issue, what might be creative in that, and what might be destructive in that. Okay, so we'll have a look. So I'm going to stop shuffling. I think they've been very well. I should pull some oracle for an overview, and I'm going to pull some cards. Okay, let's put that back there. I pull the tarot in there. Let's have a look. Okay. Okay. Wow. When I got confirmation of the card, I had several cards, but the alchemical card of the raven's head. Okay, so this is about the beginning of alchemy. It's the beginning of bringing things together, solving it, bringing it together, building it. Okay, so the path we have has been one of obstacles for you. Okay. The wall. So it could be that you've had a path that you've been trying to make a covenant, make a vow, you've been trying to do your spiritual work within your relationship, your housing, your work projects, whatever it is. There's been walls, there's been obstacles. And out of that, you have sort of pushed yourself. Some of you may have pushed yourself to make that spiritual covenant, that spiritual promise. And what is potentially creative for you is the horned cactus. Sorry, I always laugh at him. The horned cactus is about resourcefulness. It's about, the cactus goes right deep down to find the water. But what is really creative for you in all this is the fool's embrace. It's about transmuting the pain. So that raven's head was the beginning of alchemy. Okay, and that is just alchemy is continual transmuting, isn't it? It's turning one thing into another. So we got the overall picture then. We're going to have a look exactly what this path is about, okay? And maybe several things. Let's have a look what spirit wants to bring about for us, shows. Oh wow, the kings are flying out here. So I'm thinking mastery for this path. You've got the King of Wands, okay? So King of Wands, vision, passion, desire. It's that mastering the fire in you, that passion. Okay. And then you also have the King of Swords. Is that the swords? Yeah, King of Swords. So again, the King of Swords is about the mastery of your mind. It's about having the sea sword cutting through the things. So perhaps this path has been that, maybe it within a relationship. And the King of Wands here, his throne is covered in runes. Okay, so you might have been on a path of divination. Wanting more gifting in terms of spiritually or developing your spiritual gifts. But this is also about mastery in terms of our passion, our desires, our mind. Okay, so it's about learning that. So that, and it's resourcefulness. So you may have been digging really, really deep to find this sense of resourcefulness in yourself. Okay, let's have a bit more from that. I'm going to just, that's locked out. Resourcefulness, yeah, the world. This is very much based in your everyday in terms of, your material. Okay. This is Saturn's card as well. So it may be that you've had to push through boundaries. There's been rigidity within you, outside of you. If you've been pushing for a relationship, pushing towards that solid commitment, there may have been resistance there or no's or boundaries, and you're dealing with that. Yeah, look, this is the two kings, the emperor, the world. This is really, I'll keep it still so you can see the imagery. It really is, people, about mastery. So you've been working hard. If you've been in a relationship and you've had loads of issues and problems, when we relate, it tends to bring up the shadows in us, doesn't it? But he's shod for battle. Okay. This is the energy of Aries. So it's Mars and we have Saturn. They're the two malefic planets. So whatever's been going on, there's air and fire, and there's the two cards for the malefic planets. This is Aries, Mars. Okay. So yeah, a self mastery that you've been pursuing maybe through the year. Yeah, Seven of Swords. This is, this is mentally strategizing. So this really is to do with your mind. But that horned cactus is that resourcefulness. So this path, whatever area of life it's in, whether it's spiritual, you have had so much work to do there. Okay. But the fact that you're showing up as kings and emperor, it's almost like this is something that is done for you. This is maybe where we move into um that vow, that contract with whatever we're contending with, our spiritual life, or our well, we are really our spiritual life. No, the lovers. So this really could be I mean, this is very alchemical Gemini card it is, but the lovers is also about that union, that physical union. Maybe you got a wedding coming up, maybe you're looking for that commitment, maybe you're shying away from that commitment. There was a lot about covenants and promises and vows there, even all the trappings of a wedding. I don't normally visualize things like that. Being a being an older lady, okay, but this again, it's alchemical. It's about bringing the sacred feminine and the sacred masculine together. And we do have in the sky next week, and this week we've had this dance with Venus and Mars. So very much about that. But this is about your obstacles, okay? The obstacles you've had. The path has been full of obstacles for you people. It's not been easy. Maybe that kind of, you know, I mean, Gemini, the lovers, it is about the polarities. We had that message about the divide, the polarities. So maybe within work or between you and another person or within a group, or a group has been really divided. Maybe you've been really deeply affected by all the divisions out there in the world. But there's that sense of one of the obstacles has been to bringing that masculine and feminine together. So your receptivity, what you're taking in, and your output. Um, but this horned cactus is saying, you can you can push through. You can get that mastery. You can have that place in the world that is like the emperor. You can have strategy, mental strategy there. Yeah, look. So perhaps this, the vow, the ring for some of you is an actual breakdown of relationship. You're heartbroken, you're in a mess, you grieve in the loss, okay? Because that is about heartbreak. And with the lovers, I would say that is the struggle and the war and the obstacles. So if that's the case, or your relationship is melting down, there was that the thing that's springing to mind is the message about the polarity, the division. No, it's all one, it's all interconnected. So whatever is happening is not wasted. Your grief and your tears and your upset is not wasted in any shape or form. It will become seed for the next cycle in your life. Okay, so don't despair there. I know it's difficult. Yeah, no, this is a difficult one. Obstacles, Three of Swords, Five of Swords, deception. Perhaps you were betrayed. Perhaps you've been pushed to one side at work, within a group. Maybe you're feeling isolated, or there's double speak within groups, people talking with forked tongues, so to speak, but definitely a deception going on there. And in terms of the lovers, if that is a relationship, yeah, perhaps that was betrayal. If you're in a relationship, I'm not telling you to look out for betrayal. But the Five of Swords again is a card, a mental card. It could be about that paranoia. So check yourself out in terms of, are you overthinking things? Are your insecurities, your shadow showing up here, and there's a self-deception there. Okay, it can be a variety of things, yeah. But there's the Queen. There's the Queen. Okay, a lot of court cards. You're showing up as the Queen. Okay, So this is nurture. So nurture yourself. If you've been going through that grief, if you feel like you've come against a wall, there's no movement, you can move within, okay? Nurture your heart, nurture your body, nurture whatever's around you. Okay, but biggest of all, nurture yourself, get back out into nature, get connected with nature. There's often a lot of peace out there and a lot, nature, I say it over and over, nature speaks, oodles, yeah. And we got the King of Pentacles. This is an amazing read. I don't think I've ever had a read with the three kings, a queen, and the emperor. So this is really, again, the King of Pentacles showing up with the queen there. It is like that lover's card. And maybe your relationship felt like that, but you've been betrayed. So that sense of the idealism you had about the relationship is now, feeling like a massive deception to you. Yeah, we've got the King and Queen of Pentacles. I'm going to bring it up. Yeah, they're the lovers. So it's very material. So for some of you, it is a broken relationship. It is something that you had put your heart and soul in, that you'd nurtured. You found your queen or your king in that sense. You thought it was, you were a match made in heaven. It came from the stars, and it did. It did. Even if it breaks down, it still came from the stars. Okay. So there's a very solid um, story here in terms of that path and in terms of the material. I mean, the cards are indicating it's the world. So it's our reality. That's Saturn's card. It's what is made into reality. So I love made into reality. It could also be you've been building a home. Maybe the relationship is fine, but you've been building the home because there was that house of cards falling. There was that sense of, I saw a home, a hut, and then a castle. And that was a beautiful horse shaped castle, which is often about good luck, isn't it? But perhaps things have fallen through, contracts have fallen through. You haven't got what you want. We dig deep, okay? You've got this, dig deep for the respite, dig deep to release your grief if there's grief there. And then the Fool's Embrace and the Transmuting, yeah, Five of Wands. This is conflict. This is battle, okay? Can be the battle within. The Kings, as I said, are a lot about mastery. So mastering desire. You might feel, passion can flip when relationships break down. The people that we feel passionate about, it can slide so easily into passionate detesting, you know, passionate anger. So be aware of that. This is fire. But this is not aggressive. If you remember the Five of Wands in the Rider Waite, it's people kind of vying for leadership. So again, if this is within a workplace, maybe there is an atmosphere there where you have to push your way to get seen, to get heard, to have your vision. We've got the King of Wands there, your vision taken up and taken seriously. But this is about, this is the transmuting the pain we have here. I'm going to shuffle them a bit more. Okay. Yeah, about transmuting that pain there. This bottom one, I'm going to pull it because it keeps, yeah, Six of Pentacles, balance coming there in your material wealth. Balance is coming in terms of if there's been unfairness, if there's been injustice, you will have that balance come in. This is about transmuting the pain here. Also, yeah, more swords. Four of swords. Okay, rest. This is rest. This is an interest in there. We've got the halo there. Okay. Yeah, we've got a halo. It's round a star. There was a lot to do with the cosmic. These things do not happen in a vacuum. The conflict, the deception, all these things, the pain, they don't happen in a vacuum. There's a cosmic plan, there's a divine flame. We've got a lot of fire here and we've got a lot of air, okay? Most of the minors are swords. So again, with this Four of Swords, it's asking you to rest. So take some time out, allow the sword, allow the King's Sword to cut through your mind, because when difficult things have happened, particularly if relationships are broken down, we spend a lot of time in our head. It's natural. We have to process. This is about Fool's Embrace, transmuting pain, okay? But there's a halo. So that I spoke about the solar eclipse, and that's happening mid-February. So if you're still battling with things, you may get that reset. It's about a destined fate. It's about fate, the eclipse, okay? So it's a fated reset, okay? So we're only just over a month around that. So bear with that, rest. Allow your mind to rest, allow your mind to regenerate, okay? We're talking here with a Fool's Embrace about transmuting pain. So spirit is very much talking. You can see him, he's like self-soothing, the Fool. So maybe something that began has kind of ended. Maybe it was a wedding. Maybe your ideals, maybe it hasn't literally finished. Maybe your ideals about what married life would be like, what buying your new home, being together, living together, whatever it is, or just this relationship, your ideals have been smashed to pieces. And it's about rebuilding again, solidly with the world, okay? Using your mastery, having a realistic vision. And this first lot and the resourcefulness, it's all court cards and major arcana. And this Seven of Swords that I see as strategic thinking for me, that often is. So let's have a look. Oh, come, let's have that one. Yeah, Page of Pentacles. So with our king, we've got our king and queen of pentacles here. Get the energy is there. That sacred marriage is there. That spiritual marriage is there. There may be a young energy coming into your life, but this is also about having that youthful optimism about the material. If you've been struggling with money in terms of your house or housing, know that there are things to learn there. There are things that will unfold throughout the year, okay? And I'm just going to take this top one. Yeah, look at this. Fulfillment, legacy. This is a beautiful card to have as your last card of the tarot spread, okay? That is part of the story. Although there's been difficulty, there may have been a lot of people involved here. We do have a lot of court cards, 3 kings, 1 queen, 1 page. Yeah, this is a big storyline, but this transmuting is about you. We have mostly the major arcana here, minor arcana here. So this is about your journey, okay? The journey through the 6, finding that balance, 6 of Pentacles in the world, dealing with the inner conflict or the conflict you've had in terms of trying to, I always see it as people testing out their mastery with leadership or vision, okay? If you've had a vision that you're looking at now at the, in 2026, it's not really working. Know that if you overcome your mind, did we have the 5 of Pentacles? Yeah, we did, didn't we? Did we have 5 of I swear we had the 5 of Pentacles. Am I going berserko, people? Yeah, there it is. I can't see it. No, it was the 6 of Pentacles, sorry. But yeah, if we master our minds, get that mastery, that King of Swords, okay, stand, cut away the things, we can cut through that that mindset of scarcity, okay? This is an abundant card. It's legacy. There will be a legacy that you can leave, even if you're feeling your pentacles in your purse are very low. So it is beautiful. You do have some beauty stuff here. So oh, don't, oh, not my camera. Sorry, people. Don't despair, okay? Don't be in despair about anything, but allow your grief to flow. Just allow it to flow. Let it out. There's often so much healing in those tears, okay? That resource that we began at the beginning, it's water. The resource for the cactus is water. So let's pull you another card. But you were definitely on a path of mastery, okay? And you were using strategy, you were using your authority. So, yeah, something happens in the middle with this obstacle wall. I said at the beginning, there's a sense of your path being full of obstacles, okay? But again, at the end of that, with the lovers, we have the King and Queen of Pentacles. So it's beautiful energy. And then we have the legacy there, okay? So it's not all despair. They're beautiful cards, but it's a struggle. And if it's a spiritual path, if you've been working on your inner alchemy in terms of getting your sacred masculine and feminine, your receptivity and your outward action, that can be a struggle. And we can have heartbreak in terms of seeing our shadows, seeing what we've contributed that hasn't been so positive. It's not we can battle in our minds in terms with the leadership within us, our egos or our hurt, which is often to do with ego. um Having that battle to allow spirit. There was very much about this menorah and about the shining of the flame, shining of the light. It can be a battle to do that. But there's a sense here that spirit's saying your path is full of mastery. And that can be not just, mastery in the material. This can be that mastery. Spiritually. So whatever path you're taking spiritually, whether it's one within structured religion or it's an esoteric path or it's, I don't like that word pagan, but the alternative spiritual paths, if it's your witchcraft, if it's whatever it is, okay, divination, clairvoyance, whatever, it doesn't matter. There's a mastery coming, okay? That's what you were aiming for. But there's something here spiritually with your masculine and feminine. It could be that you need to, we were heavily weighted here with the masculine energy, with the two kings and the emperor, okay? So it could be that you have been very good at doing, but not receiving. So perhaps that sense of receiving, and sometimes the beginning of receiving is through something painful, unfortunately. You heard the dark night of the soul, and that can often be the way through spiritually. But this speaks to both sets of things, the material. There's balance coming, okay? There's more learning to be done. There needs to be some rest. And if it has been something with you about this, the sacred feminine, masculine and feminine here, spiritually, perhaps it's time to really receive now, to stop the doing. Maybe the wall's there because you need to receive something in order to move on. Okay, let's have a look what we got. Yeah, look, horned cactus and all the cards, the power of purpose. You have had such an incredible purpose that you've been moving towards, whether it's spiritually or in the physical, okay? The wall, the obstacles, the pain, the deception. That's what spirit's saying to you. Let it go. Okay. Whatever is hurting, let it go. And the transmuting pain. Yeah, look, we got purpose there, and we're going back to endless. possibility. There's the stars, that cosmic ring. If you are married to the bigger purpose, if you have vowed to follow a purpose that's bigger than yourself, that is ultimately for the greater good, okay, there's endless possibilities. I mean, materially, there's endless possibilities if we can get our mind away from a mindset of scarcity, okay? So, there we have it, people. Hope that was helpful. As I say, there'll be a dark moon reading on Wednesday of next week where we'll have a look at shadow. We'll have a look about what's wilted, what we need to let go of, and about the seeds we're needing to plant for the Capricorn new moon, which is the first new moon of the year. So, a very important one. And it's sandwiched between 2025 and this eclipse in February. Okay. So, lots of love to you all. Have a good one. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.